What's up, y'all? It's Sydney Jack. I am a singer, songwriter, and actress from Vacherie, Louisiana, and I am the 2020 Miss St. Tammany Heritage, which means I am competing in the Miss Louisiana system of Miss America next year, and I've got a few things that I want to talk to you about today. I'm very excited about the launching of my Healthy is the New Black campaign, and Healthy is the New Black came from a need that I felt, a very dire need in our community to change the narrative. You know, I think we hear so many times that black people are stupid or black people are criminals and so on and so forth, and I felt like there was really a need for us to reclaim the narrative and make it something positive, you know, that we all could rally around. It actually started in 2018, and Healthy, I was really talking about health in a mental sense. I had just graduated from college. I am Dillard University degreed, so I am a devil all day long. But I had graduated from college and I was pretty lost, you know. I graduated with no real plan, save figuring it out, which usually means that you kind of let life happen to you. And so I wrote down Healthy is the New Black as a way to encourage myself, because I was really a high functioning depressive. I had accomplished a lot, and everybody who knew me knew that I was extremely ambitious, but nobody knew that I was very sad. You know, I wasn't happy, and so Healthy is the New Black started there. And of course I sat on the idea, and it sat there in my journal for 2 years, and then 2020 comes and COVID-19 happens, and I think I, like most of us, we noticed for the first time what food deserts were, you know, and what the implications of that mean for our community. We were affected more so than anybody else in the nation, and we don't make up that much of the population. So that happened, and then we see the murder of George Floyd and Ahmaud Arbery and Breonna Taylor, and so on and so on and so on and so on. And I was like, I have to do something. I have to do something, and now is the perfect, ideal time to launch this new way of thinking for my people. And you know, it's funny because there's so much talk right now about, you know, the tides finally changing and things happening, and while I do see it, I'm not sure how much faith I have in this system. And that's because we have seen systemic change. We have seen these changes in laws over time, right? The Voter Act of 1965, like we see these things happen, and then it seems to me that at a point things change and the system finds a loophole, and then it's at the expense of the people in my community, right? So while I see all these things happening, there are protests happening, you know, and there are different fights that are happening and struggles that are being fought, I think that those things are happening on an external level, and there has to be a balance, right? There has to be an internal change as well, and that's what Healthy is the New Black is all about now. So we're going to be focusing on spiritual health, mental health, physical health, financial health, you know, and what that really looks like for our community. So I'm really excited. Like, there's so much programming that I want to do. There are so many people that have reached out, and it's only been up really for like about a month now. So I want to partner with our yoga gurus and our black farmers and our black health experts, our are Black estheticians. You know, there are so many people that are needed in this community. And so I've been working on that. And in addition, I've been working on a project called the Sweetwater. It's very Southern-esque water because it's necessary, sweet because it goes down better that way. And I think the first thing that you'll see about 10 to 12 men and women discussing issues that are very important to Black women specifically, and Black men are very much so a part of that conversation. So definitely a mixture of genders, but subject matter that is important to us. But I wanted to record in a live setting, and that is not necessarily the case anymore. And so we're working to kind of get around that, maybe Zoom meetings and discussing in that way so that we can still get the content out to people. And then when we are in a situation where we can assemble safely, we'll be able to do that. So I guess if healthy is the new Black is very general and all-inclusive in our community, then the Sweetwater is definitely more specific. It's definitely for a specific group of people within that community, and that is Black women. So I'm very, very excited to have some support. I'm looking for everybody, anybody that wants to help, anybody that wants to elevate us, you know, and to wonder, you know, what is the real purpose of showing me a video of a man losing his life for 8 minutes? Like, what is really the purpose of that? Because I don't think that that is meant to empower me. I think that it's supposed to do the opposite. It's supposed to leave me feeling crazed and nervous and afraid and powerless. And so I think we have to fight these fights, right? And definitely attack the system. But again, there's got to be a change in the way that we see ourselves. And that starts within. That starts here. That starts in the mind. That starts in the heart. You know, and again, if we can build a community, right, that is supportive, that is cognizant, then it just makes us so much stronger, and we won't be as affected by those things that are happening outside of us. Because again, in my opinion, they're really not meant to empower us. I don't think that that's the purpose. So yeah, that's the healthiest in the Black and the Sweetwater. And now I think would be a really good time to switch over a little bit and tell you about some other amazing work that I've had the opportunity to do. A few years back, 2018, I attended this conference in New York City, and it is the Future Now Media and Entertainment Conference. And 2018, I was graduating from college, and I was a T. Howard Fellow. And T. Howard, they are really focused on diversity and inclusion, and they find early career professionals and college graduates, and they place them with media companies, right? So your Viacoms, your Discoveries, and it may be an internship, it could be a entry-level position. So I was a T. Howard Fellow, and I didn't get placed in an internship. Partly because I didn't really have the skill set, and if I did, I didn't know how to articulate that on a resume and in a cover letter. So I kind of cast a really wide net, and nothing came of it. And my recruiter, who I believe is also a Dillard alum, Raphael, shout out to you wherever you are, I love you, thank you so much. But he called me and he's like, okay, Sydney, you know, we couldn't place you, but I have a really good opportunity for you in New York City. It's a 3-day conference, and you'll be able to network and, you know, figure things out basically. And it was like an over-the-phone informational that I attended. So I'm listening, and then that was it, right? So I graduate, I go back home, and I think nothing of it. And I went to Houston by a cousin of mine, and I'm like talking about what's next for me because I really don't know. And I mentioned the conference, which up until this point I hadn't really entertained the thought of attending at all. And I told her about the conference, and she's like, what are you doing? You don't have anything else to do. You should figure out a way to get to New York City. And thank God, my parents are so awesome and so supportive. They got the money together for me because I couldn't do it. I didn't have a job, and so clearly there was no money. I stayed in like Times Square. It was crazy the way it happened. And we booked the flights and stuff maybe like a week and a half before the conference. So, you know, it was a pretty penny for me to get there. And I got there and my world changed in a very profound way. And it's because of two reasons. One, I am from a very small town, right? So even when I moved to New Orleans for school, like that was different for me because I'm really country. I'm really, really country. So, you know, that was a culture shock. And then to really take hold of my destiny and, you know, hightail to New York City, I didn't know what I was going to find there. I just went, you know, I went with it. And the information that I got there, the people that I met, and not only the executives that I met, but the attendees, like, oh my goodness, just such a crazy experience. And I loved it so much that I went back last year in 2019 as a volunteer. And so this year, when the founder, who is this wonderful woman, Margaret Peggy Kim, she called me up and she's like, I have an opportunity. I would really like you to moderate 2 of the panels this year. We're not going to do the live conference, but we are going to do a virtual conference. And of course, you know, I'm ambitious. I've always been ambitious. And so I'm like, sure, of course I'll do it. And in true Sydney fashion, I don't choose one panel to moderate. I'm like, of course, you know, if there's more than one panel you need me to moderate, I'll do it. And naturally there was, so I ended up moderating 2 of the panels. I moderated the Recruiters Tell All panel, which was more geared toward, you know, those college graduates that are trying to get into the industry. And then I moderated the Power and the Art of Storytelling panel, which was very, it was a great learning experience for me because I got to really understand the way that storytelling works outside of the episodes on a television series, right? So like how brands tell their stories. And I didn't realize going in that is what I'd be discussing. So there was so much research that I had to do to be able to ask poignant questions about it. So it was really, really a great experience, but very, very stressful, you know, for me. And I had to learn how to deal with my stress and manage it in a different way to get through that experience. So it was a phenomenal experience. And now post-conference, I'm like, okay, I want to bring this great organization to more people who look like me, who grew up in the environments that I grew up in, who went to schools like me. And so one of my initiatives is going to be to bring Future Now to the 6 HBCUs here in Louisiana. And it's going to be a bit dependent on what's happening with COVID-19, but I mean, there is a virtual pathway now, so I think either way, I'll be successful in that. And it's fascinating, you know, how things can happen sometimes and you don't really know what's going to happen, but that's when you know you're being moved by something that's greater than yourself. I had absolutely no idea that I would be as involved in putting on a virtual conference. And if I'm not mistaken, there were like about maybe like a little under 200 attendees that were assembled on a Zoom conference call. And if you could imagine any producer out there that's listening, how difficult that is and how crazy it was, you know, for her to not only decide that it was really important to still give this need to students, but then figure out all of the ways and all of the logistics. Like it's insane. So I've been working with, and Future Now is a nonprofit organization, so I've been getting my feel for nonprofit work, and it's really helping me, you know, to bring it back to Healthy is the New Black, and how wide of a reach I can have and how wide of an impact I can have if we do things the right way. So that's why we gotta make this thing communal. It's so much bigger than New Orleans. It's so much bigger than the melanated people living here in the United States. This is a global problem, I think. The narratives around Black people, and we have to decide, you know, little by little to change that. And if I give a little, and you give a little, and she gives a little, and he gives a little, then it's not a little anymore. you know. So I've been doing that work, and I feel like that's about, is that it? Ha! No, it's not. You know, when you're doing so much, it becomes, you know, a little bit confusing. I've been working a lot lately, and my sleep schedule's been a bit different too. Like, I'll work for a few hours and like nap, and then work for a few hours and nap. And what that means is sometimes I'm up at like 3 o'clock in the morning, and then I nap at 8. Like, my sleep schedule's ridiculous right now. But I've been thinking a lot about everything that's happened. I feel so blessed and so connected, and it's funny because 2 years ago I competed in my first Miss Louisiana pageant, and I thought, or I was trying my best to be some person that I thought would be the person they wanted to see as their Miss Louisiana, right? And in doing that, I lost myself, and I was still like not happy and not fulfilled. And now, you know, 2 years later, I am a much different woman. I went to a program that the organization held for the new Miss Louisiana. So I go to the program, and you know, it's smaller, of course, but something to make her special moment feel special, even in such unprecedented times. And I'm there with my very African-esque braids and my crown, and I thought I would have never done this 2 years ago. Like, I would have never been this free in my blackness, in my personage, you know. I want to thank you so much, DJ So Ray, for having me. This has been great, and I want all of you all to please follow me. You can follow me on Instagram at _Sydney Jack. I have the simplest name ever. Think Sydney, Australia, Jackson, no son. _Sydney Jack on Instagram, Sydney Jack on Facebook, and you can also follow the Healthy is the New Black page. It is Healthy is the New Black _Nola on Instagram, and Healthy is the New Black on Facebook. And the Sweetwater, it's THEE Sweetwater. So that's all I have for you. I hope to see you all soon. Stay in tune, stay in touch, stay loving and caring and embracing this wonderful, strong community that we have, because they wouldn't.
See the centerfold that my mental load, but my jet issues with one-page features. She's a keeper. I bring it to the table, but she got her own visa. She ain't Beyonce, but I swear that girl a diva. And her ex-man, he was a dummy. He chose to leave her. He was supposed to lead her. Now look how I treat her. I'm looking for halfway like a Sadie. I'm trying to meet her. Melanin fever. I be the doctor to treat you. In my two-seater, I come get you like Daniel Caesar. Top down with the breeze. We can move with the trees. And the only thing matter on this road is you and me. We only got 10 more miles, so let's get deep. So sit back, relax, and baby, this is for my queens.
About you, this for you, this is for my